So I'm Sean Yang, I'm from Massachusetts, also on the board of directors of Indivisible, Massachusetts. One of the things that progressive movement activism are really interested in doing is not just win November, right? We got to flip the House and hopefully the Senate, but actually follow up with making institutional change because we lost our democracy. We literally lost our constitution in the past few years. So one of the things that we want to see is Congress people to go and actually reform big time. You know, how to prevent another Trump regime from coming in. You know, we gotta maybe filibuster, maybe all the things need to be reviewed, voting rights. And so and keep this current regime accountable. We cannot say let's be more bipartisan and let's move on because look at the past. So what do you think of that?
So the question is about reforming our institutions and holding those accountable and maybe not being bipartisan and so on. So I understand completely your sentiment. So let me just sort of tell you structurally what we're going to see. I believe we'll flip the House in November. I think we're going to path the Senate that we may flip the House, flip the Senate as well. But obviously, we're not going to flip the White House. The current occupant of the White House will be there for another 2.5 years. So we cannot put anything into law without the signature of the president. So that is just a reality. Now, what does it mean if we flip the House? Well, one, we can cut the legislative agenda of this administration in half. We can stop stupid stuff. We can stop any harmful laws because the House will just not support it. So that's number one. Number two, we can do oversight. So the Republicans in Congress, unfortunately, have just basically abdicated the responsibility, done very little oversight. So now every committee will be chaired by a Democrat once we flip the House. And we can hold hearings, call administration officials, and oftentimes you get change just by asking people questions publicly on their record. So that's one of the best ways to try to get reform. The way that you would cause permanent change, you would need laws. The way that happens is we would have to get a trifecta of 2.5 years with a Democratic House, Democratic Senate, Democratic president. And my number one priority in deciding who I would support for president is that nominee has to voluntarily agree to sign laws that reduce his or her own power. I've concluded that the presidency is way too powerful, and we just need to reduce the power of the president. But that does require the president to sign that law. And so my hope is that we do get a trifecta of 3.5 years, and then we do get laws into place. But that is how you reform institutions. We're not going to be able to reform institutions next year, just the way our government works.
Okay, one last question, maybe from here on this side. I do see a hand over there, please. Which hand? Yeah.
我有一个问题，我是来自南澳大利亚。最近大家都有关注到海马枪击案，是最近轰动
整个美国，而且因为这件事，1块钱、1瓶水、1条命，媒体主流是这样报道的。但我是直接参与了这个去年到今年的旁听，我所听到的和警方提供的、专家提供的、验尸官提供的等等，都证明媒体上只是很单方面的一种声音，甚至这件事的引起的效果呢，整个美国大。包括我们南卡地区有不少亚裔的商业机构参与，都受到恶意的报复。但是我又听到另外一方面，我们作为华人在美国生活多年的，我们是守规矩的一个群体。当我们正当防卫的时候，我们还受到谴责。 这公平吗？黑人来美国和华人来美国，可以说同等年代也相差不远。为什么我们的祖辈能站出来，而现在我们华人越来越多，我们是否
感到清楚。
还有一句，我也听到有华人呼吁为这个死去的黑人小孩的家属赚钱，我们应该吗？
Yeah, so thank you for your question. I support public safety, and so in Congress, I supported funding for public safety organizations, justice grants to different law enforcement departments. When my wife ran for Torrance City Council, she was endorsed by Torrance Police Officers Association. So I'm a big supporter of public safety. And my belief is that if someone commits a crime, they should be prosecuted regardless of what race they are. And the best way to try to reduce crime is to fund our law enforcement agencies, and is also to address those issues that tend to cause crime. So if you have a bad economy, if you have good schools, if you have sort of a breakdown in the community, those issues sort of cause crime. And so in Congress, what we do is we fund law enforcement agencies across America, and that's something I'm gonna keep fighting for. And every community is different, and your specific community may have sort of a different law enforcement relationship to your community compared to other communities, so it's sort of hard for me to judge from sort of your community versus other communities, but my main priority is to make sure there's enough funding for law enforcement agencies to do the job that they need to do to protect public safety.
I think we're running out of time, and the last thing we're gonna do before the congressman leaves is that UCA has every convention we have give some outstanding service award to our community, and because the congressman cannot be here with us tomorrow, no, day after tomorrow, we have to give the award here with everybody with us here today. It is every other year UCA choose one or two congressional champions for Chinese American communities. And Ted has definitely deserved more than that. We could have awarded the congressman the very first one ever since he comes to the US Congress. He has done an amazing job. To those of anybody who said that to elect a Chinese American member of Congress is not important and the race is not a factor, none of this. Well, if you got into the issue, then you will know. If it is something happened with Chinese community, you will see who is there for you. I'm not going to say who, but
Chinese American Community Leaders Summit.
Yeah, I heard before, I think it's follow along the newspaper too, before we head into the war. And we know, so they're saying, every successful man behind it, there's, the real boss, Yes. So now, I actually, before we do that, we want to recognize Betty. So Betty, can you say a few remarks, and then we'll pick them up.
I'm very delighted to be here and wonderful to see such a great gathering of people, Chinese Americans united for a great cause. I think it's so important that what Ted said is wonderful about all of us being to register to vote. And without it, we literally, the Asian American community, are invisible. The reason why we have people like Ted and like Judy and Grace out there is because we have more and more Asian Americans registering to vote. And so please, it is so important. I know you all here, so you are probably all registered, but it's so important to reach out to your friends and family. And congratulations to the 10-year anniversary of this wonderful organization. We are very happy that you invited.
Okay, so without further ado, this is the 2026 Chinese American Convention Congressional Champion Award. And we're honored to present this to Congressman Ted.